Jay, that's strangely close to Daniel Jones from the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
The crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
David Montgomery on the Lions, former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's a flag. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open. No!
What happened? Oh shit.
America is football. Football is America.
Football is America. If you don't like it, you can kiss your candy ass for the moment in time. I don't give a damn. Oh my god.
No!
You loved it.
It's 30 to 27. Chiefs win. Chiefs win 30 to 20.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Only Football Podcast. We got our recap coming at you tonight live for all of the Week 10 games. It's going to be a little bit faster than we usually do, but before I really get going into this, I want to test the audio. I want to make sure that the audio is good because we've had some issues with it recently, so I just want to make sure. All right, sounds good on my end. All right, let's roll right into it. So, Week 10, all right, starts off with a game between the Ravens and the Bengals. Now, I'll just say right off the bat, all right, the Ravens won. They played a really good game. Lamar Jackson had another elite PFF grade. He's playing the quarterback position better than anybody in the NFL right now. And that was coming off, that's a short week. I mean, it's a short week for both quarterbacks. But I feel like we do this thing in the NFL where whenever there's a quarterback on a team that's losing, we are like, that quarterback sucks. It's a very what have you done for me lately league. And I can give you an example, right? Name me a quarterback that you think is really good right now, top 10 quarterback that has a losing record. So, I mean, here's the thing. Dak Prescott, everybody's like, they shouldn't have paid him, basically saying he sucks. We just had somebody on the podcast the other day. I think it was Jinja. He was like, Joe Burrow's washed. Joe Burrow, he's overrated. He hasn't done anything. Let me just say, all right, that is not true. That is not true. But the fact of the matter is that the Ravens win this game, so no one's going to talk about Joe Burrow. So I will. I'm going to talk about Joe Burrow. I'm just going to throw this out here, okay? Joe Burrow in the 2 games against the Baltimore Ravens has thrown for 820 yards and 9 touchdown passes. And they didn't win any of them. Now, to me, I feel like you have to be able to take a step back and be like, not only is this on the defense for the Bengals, but Zach Taylor in the front office for the Bengals, they are single-handedly wasting an MVP-type season out of Joe Burrow, where Joe Burrow is playing magnificent football. I mean, he put his team in position to win. Forget about Joe Burrow for a second. Jamar Chase in the 2 games against the Ravens has 460 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. Okay, you're telling me that you're putting up those kind of numbers and the team's losing? I'm sorry, but we have to be able to take a step back and realize that sometimes the issues on a football team extend much larger than the quarterback. For instance, we're going to talk about the Cowboys a little bit later. Everybody was like, don't pick Dak. You saw what Cooper Rush looked like. Imagine if Dak Prescott wasn't on the team. I mean, the fact of the matter is you can have a good quarterback, but if he's on a team that has a glaring weakness like the Bengals does defensively right now, or Dak Prescott with the lack of weapons, it's not going to work out. It's really not. And we could have a debate about whether Dak Prescott was worth all that money. But what we can't debate is that Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott are both on losing teams that make their teams significantly better than they would be without them. And that is the rarity in our generation and our culture, where we don't give a losing team a losing team's quarterback their flowers. And I feel like I saw these numbers from Joe Burrow and I put my foot down and I said, enough's enough. I am not going to go on here and talk about how good the Ravens are or how bad the Bengals are. Rather, I'm going to make this about the fact that the front office for the Bengals has wasted an MVP type of season out of Joe Burrow. You don't throw for 820 yards and 9 touchdown passes in the 2 games against the Ravens and not have a single win. I mean, Joe Burrow is playing amazing right now, and it's going down the shitter, and it's all for nothing. And it's really sad to watch happen. But this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where if the Bengals had even a mediocre defense, you're talking about a Bengals team that could easily be 7-2, 7-3, 8-2, and everybody would be like, Joe Burrow's really good. And, the same thing happened with that field goal in Denver being blocked, where everybody was like, you know what? The Chiefs are so damn good. It was like, wait a minute. What if that field goal goes in? You're saying we're having a totally different conversation? Why is it so easy to have a totally different conversation? Why can't we just stay level-headed about this stuff and talk about what actually happened instead of running away with the winning team, right? Because I feel like that happens too often, and the real storylines get neglected. I mean, Baltimore overcame a really strong performance by the Bengals. Of course, Jamar Chase, who had 3 touchdown passes. He had 264 passing yards. That's even more impressive than the 3 touchdown passes. I mean, just an insane box score when you looked at it. But Cincinnati went for a 2-point conversion to take the lead, and Joe Burrow's pass to Tanner Hudson fell incomplete, and that sealed the Ravens' victory. But I did like the decision to go for 2. Your defense has shown no signs of being able to stop the Ravens. You go for 2, you go for the win. You didn't get it, but Joe Burrow, hell of a game. Lamar Jackson, hell of a game. This is the best quarterback rivalry we have in sports right now, in my opinion. There's nothing even close to it. We got Embrace the Struggle in here. I guess whenever Tua is in rhythm with the Dolphins, have a chance to be spectacular, maybe, LOL. Stafford is a good QB, but he perhaps isn't what he once was a couple years ago. Deshaun Watson used to be good, but threw his career in the toilet with poor judgment off the field. I agree for Cincy. Very disappointing. Thanks for your feedback. Embrace the Struggle. Appreciate that. All right. Did you guys wake up early for the Carolina Panthers New York Giants game? Of course you didn't. Nobody did except Giants fans and maybe Panther fans, if any exist. But the Panthers were able to get this win. Some people called this the Tank Bowl. What stood out to me about this game is that Daniel Jones is not good at football. He's just not. He is really good at one thing, and I don't think people realize how fast Daniel Jones is. All right. Now, if you just looked at, just Google fastest ball carriers in the NFL, you'll stumble across the different years. And I'm going to give you one. So these are the fastest quarterbacks. All right, let's throw away the 40-yard dash for a second, because there's such thing as pad speed and non-pad speed, right? There's a lot of guys that run real fast 40-yard dashes, but it doesn't translate onto the field, and vice versa. There's a lot of players that run a 4.6, but when you see him on the field, he's running stride and stride with a guy that ran a 4.4. What matters to me, 40-yard dash is great. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. If you run a really fast 40-yard dash, you're really fast. So no, it does matter. All I'm saying is I like to value the game speed more than the 40-yard dash, but I take them both into an account. So let's look at quarterbacks, and we'll throw away the 40-yard dash for a second and just talk about how fast these quarterbacks were actually measured on the field. And this is going to be the 10 fastest quarterback plays in 2022. Okay. Justin Fields with the Bears, number one, he ran 21 miles per hour on a 6-yard rush, which is, I don't even know how you get to 21 miles an hour on a 6-yard rush. He must have been going laterally. Marcus Mariota for the Falcons ran 20 miles an hour. Justin Fields ran another game. He ran a 17-yard rushing touchdown for 20 yards. Jalen Hurts, 20 yards or 20.5 miles per hour on a 16-yard rush. Lamar Jackson with the Ravens, 20.48 miles per hour on a 79-yard rushing touchdown. I got to say, man, that's pretty freaking fast. 21 miles per hour takes the award. That's Justin Fields. And then you got Marcus Mariota going 20.7 and Justin Fields 20.7. And then Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen at 20.3. And then Marcus Mariota again. So the 10 fastest ball carriers for a quarterback in 2022 were only the same quarterbacks at different moments, but it's Justin Fields, Marcus Mariota, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and that's it. 5 quarterbacks all ran above 20 miles per hour. Okay. And most of them did it multiple times during the season. Okay. Now, when I looked at the what was it? That was 2022. When I looked at 2021, it was Daniel Jones. Did you guys know Daniel Jones is freaking fast? Like really, really fast. Daniel Jones. Now, let me reel you back to what I just shared with you, right? These ball carriers. I'm going to reel you back into this for a reason. The fastest ball carrier in 2022 was Justin Fields, who ran 21.23 miles per hour. I mean, think about this. Lamar Jackson ran 79 yards and still didn't go over 20.5 miles an hour. You're telling me that you got 79 yards of grass in front of you. You're hitting top speed, right? If I went back and watched the play just to see, that was Lamar Jackson's fastest. That was his fastest. He wasn't holding back. He was trying to. The safety was trying to take an angle on him, and he was booking it as fast as he could, and he was clocked at 20 miles per hour, 20.48. Daniel Jones had an 80-yard run against the Eagles, and he reached a top speed of 21 miles an hour, 21.23 miles per hour. It was the longest run in Giants quarterback history, and it was the fastest play by a quarterback since 2018 altogether. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? So Daniel Jones, I don't think people realize how fast he is. I mean, we just don't talk about it. I don't know why. I think it's because he tripped over his feet. You know, I think that was the play where he tripped over his feet. He could have ran it in. He tripped over his own feet. And now we just make that a meme and we don't even discuss that. But I digress. Daniel Jones is not a good football player. He's not a good quarterback. He is fast. Both teams, I thought, were pretty even when it comes to expected yards per play on third down conversions. The teams were very, very similar when you look at the conversions, third down, second down, all of that stuff. That's why this game went into overtime. Bryce Young, though, was rather effective in his second straight start. he had a 79.1 overall grade, which is very interesting because maybe for some quarterbacks, benching them is a good thing. I don't know, right? But it's a small sample size, but I like to think that when you bench a quarterback, you give them time to take a step back, and then when they get their number called again, they go out there and they really, really take advantage of the opportunity because they know this might be it for me, right? It's like that speech in the Sean Payton video, The Boys of Fall with Kenny Chesney. I smell that fresh cut grass. I'm back in my helmet, cleats, and shoulder pads. And a little girls all go crazy for the boys of fall. Well, it's knocking heads and talking trash. It's man, it's I got your number, I got your back. When your back's against the wall, you mess with one man, you got us all. The boys of fall. So there's a music video with Kenny Chesney, with Sean Payton, and it's got all of the greatest halftime speeches in it. It's called The Boys of Fall. It gives me chill bumps everywhere. It's probably my favorite music video ever. And there's this coach, and he's saying, "This is your last play. How do you want to be remembered? This is the last football game of your life." And when you get a quarterback that's coming off the bench that knows there's no market for me, I think that these are the conversations that they're having in their inner dialogue. This is it for me. How do I want to be remembered? I got one more opportunity to go out here and prove to the world, or in this case, Germany, that I'm a good quarterback and I belong in this league. Nobody believes in me. Nobody. Not even the team that drafted me. And they got a ton to lose if I don't work out. So you really know that they don't believe in you. What are you going to do about it? I think some people might respond the way we're seeing Bryce Young respond. I think that's all this is. Is this going to be able to last, or is this just kind of an emotional boost, like when an interim coach comes in and they win a game, and then, now you got the Raiders with Antonio Pierce, not the same. So is that what's going to happen, or is maybe Bryce Young turning a corner? We'll find out and see. But bad game for the Giants. Really sad to see Tracy Jr. fumble that football on the first play of overtime. The Panthers just kicked the field goal and ended the game because he's been doing really good this season so far, and it's really sad. I know that he's going to learn from it and be better. He's a really good football player. It was just a really unfortunate mistake for him, and he's probably still beating himself up over it. We got Ginger in the chat. How ugly did it get last night? I think you meant lady night last night. Yo, Ginger. Eagles are coming together in ways I never would have expected weeks ago. Lions have that it factor about them like I've never seen it before. Kenny Chesney is awesome, though I prefer Elton John. Fair enough. All right, so I'm going to move through these pretty quick because I'm going to record something in the studio here and upload it tonight right after this. The New England Patriots against the Chicago Bears. The Bears have been terrible. My prediction before the game started on Friday night when I made my Week 10 predictions, it was that the Patriots were going to come into Chicago. They were going to beat the Bears with their defense. Drake May was going to play a better game than Caleb Williams, and that Matt Eberflus would be fired after the game. The Bears were 9.5 favorites, right? I wasn't buying any of that. Look, the problem that the Bears are having right now, it's not just Matt Eberflus. Go watch the film. Caleb Williams is not throwing to wide open checkdowns. He's holding onto the ball, trying to get a bigger play. He's not taking what the defense is giving him. And there's plenty of plays just like the ones that I saw that I'm like, dude, you got to make that throw. He's in his head now. Of course he is. And this is the exact problem that you don't want to have with a rookie quarterback. You can have a rookie quarterback go out there and play free, run around and make mistakes. You can even lose football games as a rookie quarterback. The one thing that you can't have is your quarterback getting in his own head. This game has to be played relaxed, loosely, and that's the great quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, even Baker Mayfield. When you watch Baker Mayfield play, does it look like he is in his head, or does it look like he's running around making plays, slinging the ball? Just, I'm a football player. I don't have my starting receivers, but I'll find a way because this is what I do. I think Bo Nix has this about him, right? Even when things go terribly awful, like that block kick, Bo Nix is super composed. He is very, very, he carries that poise with him on the field, and you can feel it. I don't even know how to measure it tangibly, but you can just feel a swagger about a quarterback. One of the things that a quarterback cannot lose is their confidence. And right now, week 10, the Chicago Bears, by doing no favors to Caleb Williams, by keeping this coaching staff on the field when you knew that they were not good, they have now put their star quarterback, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, in a situation where he is in his own head. And that is a mountain that some quarterbacks never come back from. Will Caleb Williams be able to come back from it? I think so. He was drafted number 1 overall pick for a reason. The talent is there. It's got to be. I mean, you don't get this much hype for nothing. There's something there. Even if it's like Trevor Lawrence level of production, I still think Trevor Lawrence is a starting quarterback, one that I would want on my team. I think Caleb Williams is he can at least be the best quarterback the Bears have ever had. I think that's possible, and that's a pretty low ceiling when you really think about it. But Caleb Williams now has this mountain in front of him that didn't exist week 1, that is now here because the coaching staff and the organization refused to fire Matt Eberflus and bring in an offensive-minded coach to be able to help Caleb Williams in his development process. Now, here we are, and now you have a whole new problem. The first problem is adapting to the NFL. That's a problem for every rookie quarterback. Okay, so now Caleb Williams still needs to do that, clearly, and now he has a new problem. He has to gain his confidence back. And that is the one thing that's why the Patriots didn't start Drake May week 1. Of course, he's the future. You drafted him at number 3 overall. But if we play him too early and he doesn't play good and he loses his confidence, we have a bigger problem. And we are aware of that, and we're not messing around with that. Now, of course, Jacoby Brissett got injured, and he kind of got in, organically came into the game and looked good. But this is the reason what Caleb Williams is now going to have to go through is exactly why the Patriots didn't start Drake May week 1. It's a very serious issue when a quarterback loses his confidence. And I'm sure he, will say all the right things at the podium, but when you have no touchdowns in your last 17 drives, you got to lose your confidence a little bit. When you're in the film room and you have a wide open check down and you're not throwing it to him, right? Of course, Caleb can see that, of course, Caleb can make these throws, but why isn't he doing it? It's obvious. He's in his head. He wants a big play, right? Every drive that the Bears go on without a touchdown puts more of an emphasis on the next play. And this is what I experienced with Russell Wilson. It was like, I need to prove to everybody that I am still the guy that won a Super Bowl in Seattle. And there's that amount of pressure on every single play. And it really takes out the check down because it's like the check down's not going to change anyone's mind. It's the moon ball. It's the deep shot. I need to do something special. This is a tough situation. But the Patriots, on the other hand, they're looking really good. I mean, I'm not going to say really good, but really good for the Patriots. I mean, look, the Bears, came in the same situation, kind of a new rookie quarterback. But the Patriots had a new head coach, less weapons in their arsenal than the Chicago Bears, but still the Patriots are doing more with less. And that is always a sign of good coaching and good quarterback play. In May, he's been pretty good. 15 to 25 passes, 184 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 1 pick. He had a big time throw. He did have 2 turnover worthy plays. I think overall, though, Caleb Williams only threw 120 yards against the Patriots. I mean, that's alarming. But I think right away with Drake May, you're like, oh, yeah, there's definitely something there. There's definitely something there. And the Patriots feel like they got their guy. The San Francisco 49ers played the Tampa Bay Bucks. The 49ers earned a really, really crucial Week 10 win by beating the Tampa Bay Bucks, who are slumping through no fault of their own. I mean, they have played very tough opponents the last 3 weeks, and they have taken those opponents down to the wire and almost beaten all 3 of them without their best 2 wide receivers in franchise history. And Baker Mayfield's been playing amazing. It's just one of those things where the NFL can be so unfair, and it can be a gut punch. And the really good teams, they find a way to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and get back to work, right? You don't always get a trophy, and the results aren't always there. But how are you going to show up next week? Tampa Bay, man, they have every reason to be upset and tired, specifically tired. They're playing very good teams. I think the combined record of the teams they've played in the last 3 weeks, the 49ers are the worst team by record. They've been playing really difficult opponents, right? They had the Chiefs, the 49ers, and then who was it the week before? I think it might have been the Ravens, Tampa Bay. Or I think it was Atlanta. I just remember. I don't even have to look it up. It was Atlanta. So they had Atlanta, the Chiefs, and the 49ers all without their best weapons. Like I said, the results aren't always going to be there. You're not always going to get a trophy. You just have to find a way. Whatever it is that motivates you, keep fighting and just trust that you're going to start winning games. The better team doesn't always win. I mean, I don't feel like the Chiefs outplayed us, and let's get right into it. Kansas City Chiefs 16, Broncos 14. All right. This is another game where the Chiefs squeaked by the Broncos, and 16-14, they stay undefeated. They blocked the game-winning field goal, a 35-yard field goal attempt from Will Lutz, despite the Broncos being in prime position to end the Chiefs' 14-game winning streak. The Broncos did it. They did everything that they needed to do to beat the Chiefs. A 35-yard field goal, game on the line, 1 second on the game clock, and the field goal is blocked. Okay. Bo Nix looked great in this game. And I have a message for Bronco fans everywhere, and I put it on my X, and I'm probably going to clip this right now. I'm probably going to clip this out of this video, and I'm going to post it separately because I really think I need to give Broncos country perspective, because after this game, people were like, that's it. The Broncos season's over. We're not a playoff team. We're just not. I'm going to drop a little wisdom, a little sunshine, a little positivity, but more importantly, I'm going to drop a little reality, right? Because all that positivity stuff's great. You know when it's not great? When you're lying. I have told no lies. It just happens to be very positive, what I'm saying, okay? Here we go. All right. This is what I wrote on X about the Broncos. I'm hearing that some of Broncos country is giving up on the season. Is that really it? Denver makes that kick and suddenly they're a good team, but because it gets blocked, they're deemed mediocre? Come on. Picture this. Denver storms through their next 4 games against the Falcons, Raiders, Browns, and Colts. Boom. They're 9-5 by week 15. Everyone will start buzzing about them being a top-tier team, potentially a playoff lock. They might even split with the Chargers in week 16, reaching that coveted 10-win mark. Sure, they could face a tough match with the Bengals the following week, but then they catch the Chiefs in week 18 when their starters are resting, setting them up for an 11-win season. Even if they stumble against the Falcons or Chargers, they can still snag 10 wins by dominating their easier opponents on the schedule. The bottom line is that there's so much football left to play. Denver is just 4 games away from being perceived as a dangerous playoff contender. And let's not forget, Bo Nix has been improving week to week, game to game. Denver's season's far from over. Don't hit the panic button just yet. So many possibilities are on the horizon. Do you really want to be the fan who throws in the towel week 10 over a blocked field goal? Let's keep the exciting ride going. We need to be better. And now this is specifically to the fan base. Throwing in the towel is such an egregious sin from my perspective because over the last decade, we've seen firsthand what it looks like to have no hope by week 10. And this isn't it. I understand this mindset in the past, but how can you guys not smell the roses under your nose? I don't know how some of you can't see the promise right before you. We have longed for this moment. We have been waiting for relevancy. And not only do we finally have it, we found our success due to a rookie quarterback that's playing his ass off while our roster is handicapped due to the largest cap hit in NFL history. Imagine what Denver looks like, a couple bona fide stars in the offseason. Let's say they sign a free agent like T. Higgins, while Bo cements himself as a top 15 quarterback. We'll be playing for the AFC West. Keep your head up, Broncos country, because we will never return to this moment of our lives. Bo will improve into a top 10 quarterback. Denver will be a consensus top 5 team in the NFL, and we'll all be happy then. But we should be stoked right now. It's unacceptable to feel otherwise. Unacceptable, I say. I'm going to leave you with some lyrics to a country song that is special to me, that I think is appropriate for this moment. You're going to miss this. You're going to want this back. You're going to wish these days hadn't gone by so fast. These are some good times, so take a good look around. You may not know it now, but you're going to miss this. Just like we now refer to the 8-8 Tim Tebow season as one of the most enjoyable years, I believe the 2024 season will be remembered in the same way. A decade from now, we'll reflect on this season as the rookie year of the quarterback that saved our franchise. Some of us will confidently say that we knew he would win a Super Bowl, while others will not. God bless you, and God bless Bo Nix. This is where we're at as a franchise. We are finally in a place where we know where we're headed. Bo Nix outplayed Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback maybe in NFL history, on Sunday. And it was always going to be an unsurmountable, achievement. We were never going to be able to beat Kansas City as long as Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback until now. And that's what stands out about this game, is that this game has proven, not even just to our fan base, but to their fan base, that your time is up. Your days of reigning over the AFC West without any struggle at all, those days are gone. We have an actual team here, and the Chargers go in that as well. This is a very tough division now with the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Raiders still suck, but the other 3 are really good. And for our fan base, we've had so many reasons to quit in the last 10 years by week 10. And now we finally have a year where we have a reason to not quit. And you're going to throw it away because of a blocked kick. You can't be that way as a fan. You can't. Or you can be that way. But just know that once Bo Nix and the Broncos are the number 1 seed in the AFC in a couple years, you're going to be the guy that gave up week 10 and didn't believe in the quarterback or the team, right? Anybody can believe in a player or a team when you're winning, but Can you believe now? The Buffalo Bills 30, Indianapolis Colts 20. I think Anthony Richardson might get to play again because Joe Flacco's just not doing very well. Flacco tossed 3 interceptions, 2 on the first 2 drives, and he even had a fumble. The Buffalo Bills, despite 2 interceptions from Josh Allen, was able to win the game because of a pick 6. I think Buffalo is actually cementing themselves as maybe the second or third best team in the NFL. They haven't lost in a while. I think it's been 5 or 6 games straight. So Buffalo Bills over Colts. We need the Colts to keep losing in the AFC, so I love it. The Steelers 28, Commanders 27. This was a really dramatic game. I honestly, this is the difference between people that watch the games and people that see the games. When you see this game, you assume that Russell Wilson played a really good game. They scored 28 points, and the Commanders are a really good team right now, and they beat them. But when you watch this game, and this is coming from someone that wants Russ to succeed, it wasn't like that. Russ played mediocre at best, right? But when he was down 10, his team down 10 in the fourth quarter, he did something that I don't think Justin Fields could do. And that is probably 1/4 of who Russ was in Seattle. But the defense is so good. I mean, they had a fake punt in their own territory. And I don't even know why they would call that, but they didn't get it, and their defense bailed them out. The defense, think about it. Russ won a Super Bowl in Seattle because of the defense and because of a running game. And right now, the Steelers are a poor man's 2013 Seahawks. They got a great defense, not the Legion of Boom, but they got a great defense, and Russell Wilson is not being asked to do that much, but he still got a couple, good throws in his bag per week. And I don't know how far that is for the Steelers. AFC Championship, Super Bowl, I'm not sure. Jaden Daniels had one last opportunity to have a game-winning drive, but he threw it to Zach Ertz, and he came up short of the first down, and then the ball went to Pittsburgh with just under 90 seconds left. It really felt like that was going to be a statement win for Jaden Daniels, getting the ball with over 90 seconds left, only needing a field goal to win. But once again, this is about the Steelers' defense. Embrace the struggle. Sorry the Broncos had to lose like that, but Darwin, as a Chiefs fan, gives you his best regards, Kyle. Appreciate that. Minnesota Vikings 12, Jacksonville 7. Gross. Sam Darnold versus Mac Jones. Not a premier quarterback battle, to say the least, but the Vikings just did not play good. Jacksonville played their best game of the season and still lost. Darnold and the Vikings were able to squeak out this win 12-7. It was a very ugly game for the quarterbacks. The bright spot, though, TJ Hawkinson, his return, and I said this when he returned last week from his injury, from his torn ACL week 17 last year, was that TJ Hawkinson was being nursed back, right? He was being slowly ramped up so that when it actually became time to play him, he was going to have no limitations on him, and that's what you're seeing. He had 9 targets, 8 catches, over 70 yards. He is a huge factor right now, and this is the perfect time. November, right before the football games get really meaningful. They got 3 very capable weapons, and Aaron Jones, 4. Can't forget about him. He can line up as a receiver as well. So the Vikings have the potential to be very good. It's just after losing those 2 games in a row to the Rams, and then what was it? Who was it? The Lions, I think. Yeah, the Lions and then the Rams. People are waiting for the Vikings to have some kind of statement win to remind everybody, hey, we can beat good teams, not just Jacksonville and the Jets. So we'll see. They're another team that we're keeping an eye on. The Saints over the Falcons. Nobody could have predicted this, but I did. The Saints fired their head coach, and then they get that interim head coach boost. This was my bold prediction, my upset of the week. The Saints were able to do it. They were able to get an interception by Tyrann Mathieu with 2 minutes remaining. and they shocked the Falcons, who are now 6-4, and they're coming into Denver angry, needing a win, and so does Denver. So this is going to be a really tough game. And of course, Justin Simmons, who was our safety last year, is now the Falcon safety. So there's a little bit of a backstory there. But the offensive line surrendered only 5 quarterback pressures for the Saints. So a really complete game by the Saints offensive line. And what was the result of that? Derek Carr went 13 of 17, 2 touchdowns, 2 big-time throws. Derek Carr can play good when he's healthy and the pocket's clean. That's just been a big if lately. The Chargers over the Tennessee Titans. I'm not going to get into this game too much, but I'm going to say Justin Herbert is playing very elite football right now. There was a Broncos fan from DNVR, Ryan, who said, the Chargers are always going to find a way to charger. And I came on here the night Jim Harbaugh became the head coach. And I said, the chargering is over. That's not a thing anymore. The Chargers are now a good team. They're going to be one of the best teams in the NFL. They're going to go to the playoffs and they're going to make a run. That is how good of a coach this is. You saw at the beginning of the season, they ran the ball, relied on their offensive line, and really, really good defense, and they won games that way. Now they're getting to the part of their playbook where it's opening up for Justin Herbert. They're starting to throw the ball a lot more, and Justin Herbert has been responding to it. 27 points. The Chargers are going to be a really tough team, and they're getting better every single week, which is really the one thing that you look at for who's going to win the Super Bowl is who was improving every single week. The Giants in 2007, they were 9-7 when they made it to the playoffs, barely made it to the playoffs. And then they beat the undefeated New England Patriots because the Patriots stopped improving every week, and the Giants, their last 5 games of the year, improved. It's all about getting hot at the right time. The same thing happened with Tom Brady's Bucs. They were like 5-5 halfway through the year, where we're at right now, week 10. And then they won out the rest of their games, and then they won 3 in a row in the playoffs and then 1 in the Super Bowl. So the Chargers have picked the perfect time to get hot and start winning their football games and playing their best football of the year. We'll see if they slow it down. The Cardinals demolished the Jets, and this is just embarrassing. The Jets, with their whole season hanging in the balance, they needed this win, and the best they could do was 6 points. It's terrible. It makes the decision to fire Robert Saleh look like a really bad idea. I just don't know where the Jets go from here. The season's obviously over. You have a quarterback that's in his 40s. If he's going to play one more year, does he risk getting hurt, or do you just bench him for the rest of the season? I think he might have 2 more games left in him, 1 more loss. But for the Cardinals, they keep on rolling. And the Cardinals are starting to look really, really good. 7 yards per play. This Jets defense is not what it used to be. The Cardinals converted 71% of their third downs. They beat the crap out of the Bears. Now they're beating the crap out of the Jets. They're just getting really good. And they were one of my sneaky teams that I said to watch out for. They drafted 12 players in the draft. They're well coached. Kyler Murray's still a really good quarterback. The Philadelphia Eagles, we got 2 more games. The Philadelphia Eagles, 34, Cowboys 6. No surprise here. The Eagles are getting better and better and better. Jalen Hurts, 14 for 20, 202 yards. Dak Prescott, not in the picture. He's hurt, going to IR. Dallas is just not a good team. Really, they're not a great team with Dak Prescott, but they're a horrendous team without him. And that shows you some sort of value for Dak Prescott, where a large part of the fan base is like, we shouldn't have paid him. Sometimes you can see somebody's value in how bad they look without you. This was one of those games for the Cowboys. Cooper Rush, the backup, he struggled. This was not that thing last year where he played week 1 through 5 and won all 5 games in a row. He was awful. His moment is gone, and I don't know if he could ever get it back. So he played so bad that he actually got replaced by Trey Lance to start the 4th quarter, and Trey Lance came into the game, and he didn't look good either. So I don't know what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys or what they're going to do. But for the Eagles, They keep on winning. They're getting better. Their defense is playing as a unit. They have a really, really, you can make a strong case for them to go all the way to the big game this year. Why not? Detroit Lions 26, Texans 23. 52-yard field goal as time expired, lifting the Detroit Lions to a 26-23 comeback win. Jared Goff's career high 5 interceptions, 3 in the first half, 2 more in the third quarter. This was one of those games where Detroit proved that they are a Super Bowl team. They are the best team in the NFL. Now, how can you have a team that throws 5 interceptions in a game, goes into halftime down 23-7, and you still say they're the best team in the league? Well, it's just because they won the game. Simple as that. In the NFL, you have to be able to win games. Well, first, you have to be able to win messy games. Secondly, only the great teams can win when they're at their worst. And that's what this was. The Detroit Lions were at their worst. This is their worst. And they still found a way to win the game. The team never gave up. They never hung their head. I know that they knew that they were going to win because I knew that they were going to come back and win. I said it. I was live streaming the game. I had to turn it off. I got called into work. I had to leave right at the end of the third quarter. And the last thing I said is that the Lions will win this game. They will. My prediction hasn't changed. It's just, of course, everyone believes that the Lions, that's how good they are. We have gotten to that point. So congratulations to the Lions. And I thought the Texans, man, they punched them in the mouth, but no points in the second half. You got to do better. You got to put something up. A field. If they would have even gotten a field goal, they would have won this game in the second half. You can't just stop. The game has to continue, but good job on the defensive side. But really, you got to be able to get at least a field goal. And then the Dolphins on Monday night, getting their win over the Rams. I did this recap after last night, so I'm not going to get into it. I thought both teams played bad. I thought the Dolphins looked good on their first drive, and then it was just pretty bad for the rest of the game. Besides a couple plays here and there, it was a very streaky game for both teams, and then it was filled with a bunch of just inept, boring, slow, behind schedule throws that just, you're wondering, you're like, every team is healthy, right? I mean, I'm looking at them. I see Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. I see Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Mike McDaniel. That's you, right? Sean McVay. All right, what's the deal? 2 years ago, this game would have been 55-40. And we're sitting here, with a 10-6 lead at halftime. And it's just weird. It's so weird. I don't know what's going on. I don't even have the answer. I think that's what bothers me, is that I can't even put my finger on it. I don't know why both of these offenses look so bad. I don't know why scoring is down like the most it's been since 1996. The only thing I can come up with is that the defenses have caught up to the schemes of the offense, and right now the defense is winning. The couple years prior, the offense was winning, and I think it goes in waves. The offense needs to get creative. They need new plays, new formations. Even I mean, your best offenses right now are having the most success. It's coming down to a running quarterback. It's not even like anyone's really throwing it out for a bunch. You look at the Commanders and the Ravens, they're like two of the best offenses. They have the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league when it comes to running. So that's like the one thing that's remaining right now. But as far as like throwing it a bunch, I'm not really seeing it the way I was in, of course, the Bengals-Ravens game's a good example of that. It can still happen. But I mean, both of those defenses are just horrendous. So that's kind of a bad example. But yeah, the Dolphins needed this win. Their season depended on it. I don't know if it was the kind of win where I'm like, they're back. I actually, it wasn't, but it's a step in the right direction, and maybe they could have that game coming up. They're going to have a couple easy games coming up, and then it's going to get real, and it's going to be Green Bay in Lambeau on Thursday night in November. I think November 29th, I think it is. So it's going to get real, and we'll see if the Dolphins can get it done. And for the Rams, I guess we'll just chalk that up as a bad day at the office. Thank you guys for watching my predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What game stood out to you? Was there anybody's performance that you thought was surprising? Anybody that was surprising in a bad way? How do you think about the rookie quarterbacks? Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Drake May. How do you think these guys are doing? And just let me know overall how your team's doing. Can't wait to hear from you guys in the comments. As always, thank you guys for watching. Please hit the thumbs up on the video. It boosts our algorithm. It helps us out. And consider becoming a member of the Only Football Fam for only, what, $2.99? I think it's $2.99. I got it scrolling here on the bottom. But yeah, $2.99 a month. You can become a member of the Only Football family, where you get specialized polls and you get to kind of have a say in how we do the podcast and how the episodes go. You get your own emojis, your own shout outs at the end of every episode. So thank you guys. Me and Rick are about to record a video and it'll be posted in the next 24 hours. So look for that. It's going to be our famous
Top 5, no debating. Top 5, top 5, top 5.
Top 5 coming to you soon. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for being in here. Embrace the struggle, and Ginger was in here for a little bit. God bless you all. I love you. See you.